This presentation is about a short film that was produced last year at Curtin University. Cassandra Edwards is the producer, the talent, the director. Cass for short. She's a screen art student at Curtin University School of Media, Creative Arts and Social Inquiry, and Cass produced this film as part of a summer internship project that was supported by Curtin University HIVE. So the HIVE is the facility that I manage at Curtin University. It's a data visualisation facility. This is the visualisation facility session, so I thought I'd take a little moment to explain the lab that it was developed in. So the HIVE at Curtin, its role is to encourage and enable the use of visualisation technologies in research projects across the university. Around the room we've got a range of different display systems. On the left is a 24 million pixel tiled wall, an 8K display, if you like. The next one is a cylinder display, which is 3 metres high, 8 metres in diameter, 180 degree field of view, and can be viewed in 3D. The next one is the wedge display, which is this one, which is 2 rear projected 3D screens. On the right hand side is our dome display, which is a 4 metre diameter half dome, and that only operates in 2D. And both the cylinder and dome displays are good for showing VR180 content. I'll show an illustration of that a little bit later. So the program in which Cass completed her project is called the HIVE Summer Internship Program. We've been running it since 2015, so this year just completed was our 10th year, and just coincidentally was our 100th project as well, so it was really nice to be a series of round numbers. Cass's project was completed as part of this program, and 100 different projects on all sorts of different topics. We work right across the university, so it's in health sciences, science and engineering, some in business and law, and also in the humanities, so it's really quite a broad atmosphere. And I should clarify, this is the Southern Hemisphere summer, so November through February each year. It's also usually our long break between semesters. Immersive cinema is an experience that invites the audience into the story to be a part of the narrative and immerses them into that world. Unlike traditional 2D cinema, you're not just a casual observer looking at the screen for passive enjoyment. You've been drawn into the space where all that exists is the narrative that surrounds you. VR180 is a format capturing a 180 degree field of view, and it presents a unique canvas for filmmakers to craft immersive experiences that go beyond the limitations of flat screens. The objective is to integrate the principles of traditional filmmaking with the possibilities offered by virtual reality. The VR experience aims to engage audiences by leveraging the depth and presence inherent in the VR180 format. This particular production was filmed in Hyde Park, which is an inner city park in Perth, Western Australia. The massive canopy of the many trees in the park provides a perfect location for a VR180 experience which surrounds you. The production was filmed using a Canon EOS R5C camera fitted with a Canon Dual Fisheye lens. It's a relatively new camera. The camera body has an 8K sensor, and the lens places 2 fisheye images side by side on that 8K sensor, which therefore provides 2 4K fisheyes. Here's an illustration of the 2 side-by-side fisheye images in a short test piece that Cass recorded in the early stages of the project. With Cass coming from a traditional 2D filming background, there was a relatively standard set of rules that filmmakers can step outside of creatively, but most importantly rely on to help compose a great frame. Initial tests with this camera, the VR180 camera, proved that VR filming doesn't care about all of these conventional rules. The camera captures everything within the 180 degree space in front of the camera, from the ground to the sky, from the left side to the right side, which poses challenges in terms of what can be placed in this space. Working with a VR camera also challenges conventions on how to set up a frame. Typically, a 2D frame can be set in camera, allowing filmmakers to look at the picture and adjust accordingly because they can see exactly what the audience will see. With the dual fisheye lens, you're looking at two circles in a fisheye perspective, which makes simple things like judging distances and getting the camera focused very challenging when trying to adapt traditional cinema language and skills to a 3D environment. When viewing through the lens, it's very easy to fall into the illusion that the subject is too far away from the camera because it looks tiny in the viewfinder, but then overcompensating by bringing the subject closer. When combining skating with expensive equipment, this poses risks, so extreme care had to be taken while shooting. When collecting 8K footage with enormous file sizes, processing this data to the point where it can be reviewed and checked, if it turned out the way it was planned during shooting, is fairly time-consuming. In many cases, once the tests were viewed in the intended VR180 format, it was quickly realised that skating closer to the camera was not the solution, and there was a lot that had to change. While a conventional film production workflow may consist of several distinct steps, there are several aspects unique to VR180 film production that require additional stages to firstly pre-process the data captured before editing together, and secondly to set up the project correctly in the editing software. When working with footage captured in the dual fisheye lens, the two side-by-side fisheye views have to be unwrapped into a 180 equirectangular format. This process was completing using a Canon utility called EOS VR, which converts the raw Canon fisheye files, just the raw 8K files with the fisheyes in them, into the equirectangular 180 format. Now, all two lens cameras capture 3D footage with some stereoscopic misalignment errors, and it's important to correct or rectify footage to remove those errors. For this step, we used a newly released tool called Stereoscopic Movie Maker FF, that stands for FFmpeg, from Masuji Suto in Japan. Now, it's important that the stereoscopic alignment correction be performed on the equirectangular version of the footage, so after it's been converted to equirectangular, because in this mode all horizontal parallax occurs only in the horizontal axis, whereas in the fisheye view it occurs in curved axes. And this is a shot of Stereoscopic Movie Maker. The stereoscopic alignment can be previewed in anaglyph mode, confirming good vertical alignment across the image, confirming good choice of zero parallax distance. This particular scene had some stereoscopic misalignments which we still haven't quite been able to fully remove, which we're still trying to understand why. There may be an error in the lens configuration during the original shooting, or possibly the VR to equirectangular conversion is a little bit out. Just trying to work that out. Editing the rectified stereoscopic footage to produce the VR180 film was completed using Adobe Premiere Pro, with the sequence set up to correctly display the full 8K frame with two 4K left and right eye frames, equirectangular. Yeah, so you can see the setting there on the right-hand side. Premiere Pro fortunately includes the capability to preview VR180 content in anaglyph format, which just makes it a little bit easier, whether you're viewing it with the glasses on or off, just to see the alignment. Sometimes it's nice to see it in anaglyph without the glasses, because it's easy to see whether there's any alignment inconsistencies in the image. Cass made the creative decision to add 2D graphics with stereoscopic depth to the VR180 film. A total of 17 graphic animations triggered by various audio and motion cues were inserted into the film to breathe life into the narrative. Glows from street lights, flourishing flowers and ferns, along with sprouting mushrooms, were added to the film at the correct 3D depth. The 2D graphics were added to the scene using the VR plane to sphere tool within Premiere, and each graphic had to be carefully placed at the correct distance in the scene, which was quite tedious, but it was important to be conducted carefully. The final film was rendered out from Premiere Pro into VR180 3D 4K equirectangular format, and that can then be viewed in a range of different ways in different platforms. Firstly, the VR180 file can be viewed directly on most major VR headsets, such as the Apple Vision Pro and the Meta Quest 3, using suitable 3D playback software on these platforms. I showed you a picture of the HIVE dome display before, so we can view the film in 2D on that display as well, just directly from the footage. And it can also be viewed in 3D on the cylinder display. Obviously, we lose the top and the bottom of the frame. And we also, as you saw last night, have created a 16:9 version for viewing on 3D TVs or conventional projection screens. To create a 16:9 export, we basically crop the equirectangular frame, and that's the red boxes here illustrate the cropping that occurs. That crop box can be enlarged or reduced or panned or placed depending upon the creative requirements of the individual scene. The zero parallax distance can be adjusted to suit the requirements of a 3D TV screen, and we didn't do that in Premiere, we did that in Magix Vegas. Vegas used to be a Sony product, but it was sold to Magix, a German company, several years ago, but it still has very good 3D support. We used Vegas to go from the 8K master in VR180 format to the 16:9 format film. Also, as part of the project, Cass also experimented with creating a Gaussian splat experience. Here's an illustration of that on the screen at the moment. Basically, Cass stood still and a video was recorded while moving around her, and then that was processed to create Gaussian splat, and then that's animated. Now, this particular sequence wasn't integrated into the final short film, although we could have done. It can be viewed in 3D as well. But instead, this output was created as a supplementary experience to the film, and it can be viewed in a VR headset. I think it was being authored in Unreal. So, in conclusion, Cass created a wonderful little 3D VR180 short film, which explores and explains her love of roller skating. Hopefully you did see the 16:9 version last night, and hopefully you'll be able to see the VR180 version tonight in the demonstration session, where I've got both an Apple Vision Pro and also Meta Quest 3. So I hope to see you then. Thank you.